all the time.
風に乗って走るわ青い風引いて走れあの島
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes another gem.
Understood. Into the wind! Clouds high, the birds call!
Ship on up!
Time to begin work? Over here!
Commissions? Specifically one with a huge more attack, perhaps? Paimon's just being enthusiastic. We're old friends now, she gets it.
It's always a pleasure to see our two most avid adventurers again. Looking for the next... Actually, we do in fact have a rather urgent commission that is still open. Having read the details, however, I don't
worry about that. We were just kidding.
To put it simply, the requester is looking for a temporary replacement actress for their musical. The original cast member ran into some issues, but the troupe has also been experiencing some financial difficulties. So unfortunately, they cannot afford to pay the replacement actress.
That does sound like a tricky situation. So basically, they're looking for a volunteer?
That's right. Our adventurers reached out to many actresses, but none of them. There are only a few days left until the performance. If they can't find someone in time, they'll probably have to postpone the show. And delays tend to create all sorts of new problems.
Got it. Oh, this one's a doozy. What do you think, Traveler? Any idea? Even if we took the commission, neither of us have any experience starring in musicals.
If you're interested in helping, why not start by having a chat with the request? Maybe you can't fill the role yourselves, but you might be able to help him figure out another solution.
Oh, it's that guy, huh? No wonder, he looks like he just ate a sour lemon. Paimon approved! Hello there, are you the guy looking for a new actress?
Wait, I know you two! Are you really willing to act in my musical?
Wow, sounds like we're pretty famous in Fontaine already. But to answer your question, neither of us have any experience in musicals. But we heard that you're in a bit of a bind, so we figured we could at least try to help you think of a solution.
I see. It's okay. I knew that asking for a volunteer was a long shot. If we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no choice but to cancel the show. It would be such a shame. That's the thing. We're not some high-profile theater troupe, just a group of amateur enthusiasts. All our sets and props are very crude. We're grateful enough just to get it. If we had a way to make this profitable, things might have turned out differently. But now, it looks inevitable that we'll
Disband?
Oh, I guess the lady at the Adventurers Guild didn't tell you? One last show. And after that, we go our separate... Nobody wants things to just... fizzle out. Not after all the time and effort we've invested into it. Yeah, the leading lady, in fact. She's been dealing with a chronic illness ever since childhood, and unfortunately, the show just won't be the same without her. But for everyone else's sake, I still hope we can...
Got it! We have a clearer picture now. What if we sponsored the show?
Please, there's no need to go that far. I wouldn't feel right asking such a huge favor, and I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
good point. If the actress just goes through the motions for the Mora, that's not exactly rescuing the shell. We should find someone who will put on the best performance possible. Oh, wait! What about... That's how you know we're the best of partners. She's really good at performing, and she was once super popular with the crowd. Performing at...
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone famous. Her! You're...
Nope. Paimon doesn't actually know if she's performed on stage before, but Paimon's pretty confident that she'd be really good at it.
You're not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows before. They were one of the reasons she was so popular. But even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's suddenly a commoner. She's still an idol to many people in Fontaine, including myself. I just think Lady Farina might feel a bit, well, yes, but... Fair enough. I mean, if she was actually willing to, then of course I'd be honored to have Lady Farina star in our show. I'm sure the rest of the troupe would be delighted too. I'm sure everyone in our troupe has probably dreamt of performing on stage with her one day. Of course, it all depends on whether she's interested.
No point in stressing about that. We'll only know if we ask her. And besides, things are different now. There's no reason for her to be all high and mighty anymore.
Thank you for your help. I guess I'll just stay here and wait for the good news. Good luck.
Wait, where does Farina actually live nowadays? She used to live in luxury at the palace.
As it happens, I have her current address here. I can provide it to you.
Woo! Where did...
I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. It is my duty to support commissioners in any way I can.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, now that we've got the address, we'll go find Farina. Back in a jiffy.
I can't believe...
Try not to worry.
Did Catherine really give us the right address? She lives... Not that there's anything wrong with this place, it's just,
You know, it's common courtesy to make sure the homeowner isn't in earshot when you're denigrating.
Ah! Okay, when did popping out of thin air become all the rage? First Catherine and now you?
I was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few more bags. I used to have a much wider range of choices when it came to food. But now I'm finding that simple, not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have macaroni and tomato sauce one week, macaroni and bolognese the next.
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
How rude! Questioning my cooking skills. The audacity. It's not like I have a very eventful life these days. Actually, I barely leave the house. So I don't see how it's unusual that my meals are a little simpler now too. Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like la lettre focilor or blubber profiteroles in no time.
Ah, there it is. You don't know how to cook.
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway, what are you even doing here? I do hope you didn't come here just to ogle at my fall from grace. Let me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're just here to clown around, then please be on your way. Shoot!
Sorry! We're sorry! Please don't be mad! Yeah, exactly! What the traveler said! Hang on a sec, you weren't exactly holding back either!
My help? Well...
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're the one with the power to help!
Oh? Well, if that's the case, then... Fine, so tell me, what specifically makes this matter so... specific? Ah, I see. I knew you couldn't have come all this way just to amuse yourselves at my expense. After all, I was once the brightest star in all of Fontaine, well versed in all the various performing arts. A mere musical is well within, but given the present circumstances, I'm afraid I must regretfully decline your casting request.
How come? It sounds like this would be a breeze for you.
True, but I have made. Although I am no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, the time I spent inhabiting that character has left an indelible. Centuries of pretending to be a different person changes you. Of course, that can't be undone now. It's too late, and I have no intention of reinventing myself all over again. But at least I can say that I no longer desire to play any new role.
Paimon can understand, but this is just a one-off part to fill in for someone who's sick. Surely.
Whether it's a one-off or not, it's a boundary that I've committed to no longer cross. If I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for myself, which would be the same as not having a boundary in the first place. So I'm not going to perform, and that is that.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do to help out the troupe? Otherwise, they'll just have to disband without any fanfare. Do you know any other actors who might be interested in the role?
Nope.
Short and to the point. Okay.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, anyone I've ever worked with probably couldn't wait to get rid of. Since I'm just an ordinary person now, they'll probably just laugh in my face if I go asking them for help. Look, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry I drew a line in the sand without thinking about every
Well, is there anything else we can do? This performance really means...
Have I not made myself clear? You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't want this job, nor do I know of anyone else who would. Sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound so harsh. I wish I could help really.
It's all right, Farina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried everything. Oh, everyone in the troupe will be so disappointed. Yeah, I guess that's all we can do now. All right, then. We'll see you around, Farina.
Toodaloo to you, too. I'm going home to take a rest.
It's too bad, but we have to respect Farina's decision. Maybe the thought of performing brings up too many painful memories. Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement without my consent?
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know the signs. But you never tell us about your ill-
And that gives you the right to make a decision.
Shortly after you left, the troupe's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else for now? The Adventurers...
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding.
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't having it. She doesn't want to play the role for...
I see. Well, circumstances have You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show.
Oh, right! Sounds like everything worked itself out then. Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the scolding of a lifetime.
Jeez, is Lady Farina really so harsh with people?
Only joking, calm down. So, guess we can consider this case closed now, huh? Despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still racking our brains for ideas on the way back here.
Look, there's no point arguing with you about this anymore. This is the last chance we have, though. If your illness flares up again, there won't be... So, are you absolutely sure you'll be able to handle it? The whole team is putting everything they have into...
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from the doctor, and I share everyone's desire to commemorate all our years as a troupe with a proper farewell show. So, the last thing I want is to be left out. Every one of us thinks of this troupe as their home. Myself included.
You're right. I'm sorry. I let myself get too worried about the show. I should have asked for your permission.
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on. Sure.
Hey, how did you... I was just passing by because I realized I forgot a couple of items on... All right, I'm coming. No need to drag me. Hello, one and all. I couldn't help but overhear your...
Farina? Didn't you say you were gonna take a rest at home?
I was just ever so slightly concerned. When you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position, and all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. I'm sorry, Paimon.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't take any of that personal.
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable questions, don't you? I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after flatly refusing you. But in any case, it sounds like the issue has already been resolved.
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost had a heart attack. I mean, how could...
There's no need to think like that. And no need to keep addressing me as lady. Just Farina is fine. I was wondering, if this troop is so important to all of you, if the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. You could put the shows on pause while you look for a sponsor, for instance. Everyone seems so devoted to the troop. I'm sure if you keep chipping away, you'll find a way through.
We all want to believe that, but some things are just beyond our control. Everything's been going downhill ever since we lost our director. She was the heart and soul of our troop. She kept us going.
Her name was O'Reilly, and she was the founder as well as the artistic director of our troupe. And
What?
that's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts. But still...
She was a loyal fan of your performances, Miss Farina. They were what first inspired her to get into She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life, and convinced them to join her troupe. She wrote, "People loved our performances back then. We seemed to be going from strength to strength."
And then disaster.
Yeah. After that, the entire troupe fell into disarray. None of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. We've been doing the best we can. But despite our efforts, things are slowly but surely falling apart. It's agonizing. But ultimately, we'd rather end things now on our own terms than stick it out to the bitter end and watch all our dreams turn to dust.
Oh.
What a terrible waste. A gifted artist from humble beginnings. I suppose it's fair to say then that this final show, besides being your farewell...
Yes, exactly.
Well, good thing I followed the traveler here. After hearing this
Farina?
I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself. Besides, they're no longer looking... I can, however, provide some artistic guidance from the vantage point, but only if you feel this is something that would help, of course.
Oh, most definitely.
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consultant, though. Will that be...
I don't need any compensation. All I'd ask in return, if you're willing, is that you tell me some more about the life and work of your late... Something I've begun to realize since my departure from the Opera Epicles is that there's a lot you don't see when you observe everything from... The law only judges criminal behavior and does not weigh human emotion. The court's verdict can... What about all the unresolved emotions of the parties involved? What happens to them? An interesting answer. But if you ask me, I think all emotion shall ultimately return home to the heart and slowly settle with the passage of time. Take, par exemple, how this troupe pines for their late director. Things such as this I have never witnessed before, and so I should like to observe.
Still a fan of your old dramatic monologues then, huh? You just want to get back in on the action, don't you?
No. This is a completely...
The name's not Swine, it's Paimon!
Would you be willing to join me? Come on, take a break from adventuring to listen to a story.
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge fan of Miss Farina's performances. All right, follow me. We'll go to our usual practice space. Please excuse the sigh.
Ad Astra. Thank you for completing. Ad Astra.
Lady Farina?
What's Lady Farina doing here?
Hello all. Allow me to explain. As of today, Miss Farina will be supporting our production of The Little Oceanid in the role of artistic consultant. These two over here are the ones that made it possible. They kindly reached out to Miss Farina.
You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice.
Oh, please don't mention it. We're just here to join in on the fun.
So, you were saying The Little Ocean?
Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and make—
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Yeah, we've been battling issues on every front trying to realize this dream. Anyway, let me give you a quick summary of what the story's all about. The protagonist of the story is a young Oceanid who transforms herself into human form, despite she longed to live just like any other human. And sure enough, she found friendship and even love. But one day, her true identity was exposed, and her world came crashing down around—
So far, so good. A classic tale.
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. Unfortunately, we need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage. But people have—
We still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
By true to life, you mean...
Yeah, like they say, truth is stranger than fiction. But then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage to pass our raw pain.
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some light entertainment. We have to consider their emotional stake in this, not just our own. And one last thing. We're still waiting on confirmation from two of our main actors. The first is Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on writing an ending for the script. The other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He took the director's death pretty hard. He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance, but we haven't seen or—
Although, now that we have—
What opportunity?
Maybe you're unaware.
Our director was constantly singing your praises. All of—
Oh, stop! You're making me all flustered. Although, I suspect the reason they're dragging their feet is that they have their doubts about whether the show will really go ahead. But one by one, all the obstacles are being removed. Now is the time to rally the troops.
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1, let's check in with Paulo and see where he's at with the ending. He went back to Poisson a few days ago, said that staying in a friend's home might help him to relax and escape the feeling of isolation.
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was flooded not too long ago. But I guess it's the opposite. A friend in need and all that.
Yeah, maybe he could use some...
Whistle. Nothing. I suppose my presence will be. So allons-y. To Poisson!
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
It's me. Is the script ready?
You came all the way here for that?
Alright. Forget that for now. Just come on out. We've got some great...
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay? I'm just wrapping up.
Okay then. Looking for...
So, as expected, he's missed the deadline.
The ending is one of the most important parts of the show. Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all had the chance to read through.
Someone told me they'd just seen you in Poisson. I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but sure enough.
I was wondering if we might run into her.
So, you're here for Paolo? Looks like he could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around town in the meantime. I've made all-
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. We'll take that stroll. Get over here, you! How oblivious are you?
How are things in Poisson now?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never recover from the trauma they
I'm sorry to hear.
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing turn every time we meet? We all have painful memories. And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't-
Thank you for your words of comfort, but for now, at least, I think
It's okay. These things take time. Moving on from a painful experience is easier said, which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to avoid upsetting the peace. I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe, and that you are just an actress playing the role of Farina. It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low while you're-
That's so thoughtful of you.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president of Spina di Rosula, after all. Like my father before me. Anyway, that was all. Look after her now.
off we go then. Let's take a look up there. I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe she's right. I'm so grateful that Miss Navia was so understanding. To be perfectly, it's always easiest to just run away from your problems. But that never fixes anything. You can't get around the obstacles without...
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of coming back here. Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying before, I want to see for myself the things that I never could in the past. I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of vitriol against me. Which, of course, I completely... Yeah, I can tell people are watching me. I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful. I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people, especially when they had suspicion or resentment in their eyes. I guess I wasn't quite ready.
I'm not surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
What do you mean by that? You expected me to just keep running.
Look! There seems to be a crowd gathering over there.
Probably time we made a move. How about we check out Spina di Rosula's ship? We should have a view of the whole of Poisson. Over here!
I need to find something to do with myself.
Step on up! I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll. And here I am dumping all this heavy stuff on you.
We don't mind. It's actually refreshing to see a different side of you.
Great. Well, I appreciate your company, so please don't disappear just yet. I don't know whether you can tell, but the years of suffering and loneliness aren't the only reason I have a hard time facing up to who I used. As I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images of the rising water out of my mind. One after another, people were taken by the water. They thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster struck, a divine power would save them from harm. And all the while, I played my part to perfection to convince them that was true. But then the floodwaters finally came. And the Hydro Archon.
You shouldn't look at it like that. You're only doing your duty.
I've had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth. As time went on, it got harder and harder to bear, and I became more lonely and isolated. Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of completely failing in my task, and was haunted by the thought of being left all alone. Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst-case scenario thanks to the help of heroic individuals such as yourselves. Everyone rose to their responsibility, but on some level, freedom also...
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
Reward? I guess so. Back then, I didn't even dare to dream about having someone to confide in. I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly was, and exposing the secret I swore to protect. Believe in the Farina you see on stage. She is the one you can trust. I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. No one could be allowed to know. That's what I really meant when I said I'm no good at maintaining relationships.
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought you were just a bit of a diva at heart.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I'm making an effort here. You could at least try to do the same. I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now, at least the choice is in my hands. All right, it's about time to head back. Paulo should...
Sure. Okay, let's head...
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing down copious quantities of fish and chips.
Come on. It's not every day we get to dine at Spina di Rosula's expense. Can you believe how generous she is? Anyway, my character doesn't need to be slim and good-looking.
Are you kidding me right now? It's not your character's health I'm worried about, it's yours. I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you willingly ruin yours by filling yourself up.
Oh no, looks... We're back! Could you maybe put your differences aside for...
Ah, you're back. We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula's VIP. Paulo's nearly done. We shouldn't have to wait too much longer.
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she...
Me? I'm an Oceanid too.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he outgrew that role. Well, the costume at least.
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid, yes?
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines too. Like when, if you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this...
Wait, that sounds kind of familiar.
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbolic... She kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe. It was only after she was gone that we realized how tough her job...
You mentioned earlier that the troupe is like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness, and once my family found out I spent some years taking whatever work I could find and trying to manage my illness with various medicines. But whenever I had it was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great voice and asked if I was interested in... She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find Mora for my meds, took care of me when my condition decided to flare up.
She sounds like a really incredible...
She really was. She gave everything she had to her troupe and the people in it. I was a lost child too when she found me. As the child of a murderer, my parents weren't around when I was little. The other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, "Come on, you must be pretty tough if you're the son of a..." One day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore. So I ran...
Let me guess.
Yeah. For the first time in my life, I was somewhat...
The day you hoped would never come.
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here. There's someone I need to introduce you to. This is our new artistic consultant, Miss Farina.
Farina? The Farina? Oh my god, how did you manage to wrangle that?
Please, the honor is all mine. I was profound.
Same here!
Even so, this is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. Yes, the script, of course. I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. A little she finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, disaster strikes. The people start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid. The little Oceanid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it and investigate the truth of the matter. In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land.
Consciousness?
Water as a conscious entity.
Since the little Oceanid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover about her true identity, and her lover accepts her for who she is and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. However, unbeknownst to them, there were some people eavesdropping when she revealed her secret. The little Oceanid is accused of being directly responsible for driving the water away.
And then?
In the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her lover and the rest of humanity.
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain? Why would she...
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover. Plus...
Through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love.
There's actually something else that you know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And she never had the chance to become a hero and out. If we're serious about dedicating this show to her memory, we should make... What about if... the little Oceanid is hounded to death by people who hate her?
That sounds like too cruel of an ending to me.
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director Aureli's death. Both on the day when she went missing, Director Aureli had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue, to leave the court of Fontaine, and we waited and waited at the rendezvous point. But we looked for her. The Gardamex looked for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Increasingly, all the signs seemed to...
The director was the kindest soul in the world. Yet she was senselessly sacrificed for the sake of us.
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that?
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far have turned up nothing.
Vilma? The one who's...
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by grief. I think the direct...
Grief? Guilt, more like. Also, because... Well, speaking of the play...
What? You...
It's time to be upfront with you all. No more keeping secrets from each other. We'll never... I did tell her how I felt once, but she turned me down pretty much straight away. She said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her, and she'd never considered... Not that it came as a shock or anything. It was what I was expecting to hear. So I told her I'd always be there. I said, maybe one day in the future, when everyone's settled into their own lives and on the up and up, and managing the troupe no longer required her constant attention, well, maybe then she could reconsider what she really wanted in her life. And now, that day will never come. So if I'm the one writing this ending, then I'm gonna make sure it does right by O'Reilly. I won't let...
In that case, you have to straighten things. We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending, but those two have never seen eye to eye on anything. One of them has to compromise if we're ever going to reach a...
Well, if that's where we're at, looks like it's time to go visit Vilma.
Are you ready to face the truth?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. Funny you should ask, though.
I certainly do. Come on, everyone. Allons-y!
This is tough going. Delphi, are you sure you can manage in your condition?
I could ask you the same question. Try to keep up.
Ugh, as if this journey wasn't tough enough already without a roadblock.
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't... wait, why are you...
We're just curious, that's all.
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could...
Precisely! And as much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put. I'm more like a...
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is
C'est la vie, indeed. Alas, I am forced to watch on helplessly as a more brave and seasoned adventurer than I...
Aw, too bad. I was...
Sorry to leave all the heavy...
Don't worry,
Burst forth!
Access denied.
Live! Feel this ancient power! Come into being! Burst forth!
Over here! Use the spotlight!
Live! Burst forth!
As one with wind and cloud!
Come into being! Witness my great undertaking!
Bravo! Good show! You certainly live up to your reputation.
The campaign begins.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
Vilma, are you there?
Huh? Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's Lady Farina doing here?
I can explain. We've been rounding up the whole.
So, you think knowing the truth about the director's disappearance will... I care just as much as everyone. If I open this can of worms now, I just don't want to make...
Fiamma, avoiding the truth will not help any... Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death had...
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Fiamma. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. I never brought it now. I've made up my mind to put it all on the table. I'm prepared to face everything, to sacrifice everything, for the sake of the little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie.
This is why people think of you as not being the smart one. As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales, but donations from the audience. Of course, that was nowhere near enough. We took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but even then, the troupe's financial situation was pretty dire. So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsorship. In return, we just had to provide the audience with their drinks during performances. It seemed like a win-win. So, I said yes to it on the spot. The drink in question was synth.
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearance?
I freaked out when I saw the boxes. And I told the director everything, but she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, she contacted the merchant, and the merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our word, and threatened to sue us for damages. I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe and it wasn't my fault. But things only got worse from there. The synth merchant just wouldn't let up, and then suddenly I admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared, I was even more afraid to say anything. Yeah, I got Aurelie killed. There, I said it. Happy now?
Hey, don't say that.
You traitor! You knew Aurelie was in danger. Why in God? What do you mean? You were afraid. This was a life and death situation. How could you be so
Please, try not to get too worked up.
Yeah, listen to him. You need to stay calm.
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? And he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show!
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I wanted to apologize. I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. Beat me up if you want. Kill me if you prefer. It's what I deserve. In my life. So I can meet the director and—
Get out of my sight! Go! Get lost!
That's enough! You've screamed and shouted at each other. Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe? You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life.
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's attention. And you're all used to seeing the director as the heart of the troupe. But in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. I can tell how much she loved you all, and how much she loved the troupe. What she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers. I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but isn't she your hero already? After everything she did for you?
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about what you hope to achieve by arguing with each other. If you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you could just call it quits now. Why bother with the final performance if the group is already fractured? But you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You care too much about Director O'Reilly and the home she built. What are you laughing at?
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that if she'd seen Paulo and Vilmont at each other's throats like that, she would have scolded them exactly like you did, in that same stern voice.
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle person.
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place—
I'm truly sorry. I really
It's all right. Let's save all this for after the performance.
So, then...
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what really matters. When emotions are running high, the end of the story needs to focus back on O'Reilly herself. She's the true star of the show.
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. You once investigated that underwater synth base, and if you could find anything that O'Reilly left behind, perhaps we can get a better—
You really think that's possible?
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story.
No.
Well, we'll—
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia. The rest of you, head back to—
You want to review some recovered items connected to victims of the serial disappearances case? But, that case has been closed for quite a while now. Still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place, you don't actually...
So, this is all over.
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches, too! Looks like they show where the different props should be placed on—
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something— Aha! Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. She even mentioned if we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then.
Lachey took so many lives. It's still so unthinkable how many victims he—
I guess O'Reilly must have written all of this down in the hope that her records would one day be of use to wait. It cuts— Her handwriting here gets patchier, and her final words are— I'll let you read them for yourselves.
She was so terrified.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troop, but I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her— wait. This part on the last page sounds strangely familiar. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Isn't that the most important line in the Little Oceanid?
Because I am an older sister to them.
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision, even as she sat in silence, waiting for death to come. I'm sure this is what the troupe would have hoped to hear as well. She had their utmost trust. Let's go.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience the courage and selflessness that she showed in the face of death, then it's a meaningful way to end the story.
Even in the last moments of her life, she was still leaving a trail for others to follow.
She did her best to protect as many people as possible. We know what choice our little Oceanid would have made. Well, Vilmont, if we put the past aside,
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance, to make this a show worthy of our director. I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you don't need to worry about my feelings.
Then it seems like we've reached a consensus. I have a feeling that this will turn out to be the most...
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen them perform before?
Don't underestimate my experience. If you want to move the audience with your music, you must fully commit and immerse yourself in your role, pouring all your emotion into your performance. And aren't human emotion? I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life on the stage than they are now.
thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Farina.
Then, let's not delay things any longer. We need to discuss the details of the ending and get it nailed down once and for all.
Actually, before that, I'd like to make a proposal. During the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name instead of my own.
Huh? But then...
After all, this role was originally meant to... Besides, a role commemorating her life should be associated with her...
Well, if you're sure you're okay with...
Now we're... All right. I'll leave you to fine-tune your music.
Procure a stage?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't...
That place? Oh, don't be silly. For an extraordinary show, we need an extraordinary...
Whoa, wait.
No. That's never going to work. It's...
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't think that...
No,
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
I'll take your silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. It really is a dream come true.
Well, then don't disappoint me. If you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me too. Come on. We'll need to get the go-ahead from Nervilette. I know just where to find it. might be here.
I'm here merely for a short break. It has been a while, Miss Farina. And you too, Traveler in Paimon.
I would like to book the Opera Epiclese for an event.
I understand. The process for booking the Opera Epiclese is complex and can be somewhat cumbersome. The story of the Little Oceanid is most fascinating. I will say, however, that I am surprised to see your passion for the
What do you mean?
Yes. And this is the first time that I've seen you like this since your departure from deityhood.
At first, I just felt bad about it. In the past, we sat. Maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person and gained my freedom. But
I'm truly delighted to see you find a new lease on life. Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts?
Why would you?
Well, if the Little Oceanid turns out to be a great success, it will no doubt become a classic. Many theater companies, the experiences and decisions of the protagonist Cleo are all modeled after your own. Naturally, it would truly be a shame if you did not take this opportunity to allow all—
Haven't I already made myself clear? I won't, nor do I think it is any great shame. This experience is a case in point. I feel like I've learned a lot, and it has already— I must admit, though,
I see. Well, I'm glad to learn that you have found a role to play that— I sincerely hope the show will serve as the grandest of finales. I will have my staff book the date and mail the relevant paperwork to the troupe once the details are—
Thanks, Nerva.
You are very welcome.
Good news, everyone! It's done. Thanks to my eloquent and impassioned speech, Monsieur Neuvillette was moved to provide us with a fitting— We've had to fight every step of the way for this opportunity. But a touching story, a magnificent venue, and last but not least, a passionate and dedicated cast. Now, let's work together and make this show the best it can be.
This is true.
The sooner we can finalize the ending, the more time we'll have to rehearse. Fiumali and I just went over some parts of the script and tweaked a few things. I think it's really going to resonate with the audience now.
Wow, you two had a constructive conversation? That's great!
Communication is vital to any good performance.
Look at us. We've come—
It's amazing! Even though Farina's still being—
Please feel free to give us any comments or suggestions you have. We really value your input.
Hey, Loic, get over here. Time to practice the opening number.
Accursed Cleo. She stole the waters of life from us. She's a fraud, and she must pay for her crimes.
This has nothing to do with her. The ignorance and hatred of our people is to blame. How can we hope to win back the water's favor?
This guy could be useful. Take him hostage. If Cleo wants him back,
leave this place, O Little Oceanid, and never, ever look back!
Everyone's really throwing themselves into their roles. I haven't... If only...
What should we do? It's almost...
Hey, what's going on? You're... Oh no, not again.
They've been getting less and less effective over time. I've had to keep increasing my...
What? I thought they cure it.
I figured, whatever it...
How could you do this to yourself? And after that lecture you gave me about not looking after my health.
I'm sorry. I've let
You...
Miss Farina?
Say no more. If you're sick, you need to rest. Loic, your character has no more scenes.
Oh, Yeah, I think my scenes are all done. Although...
Please take Delphi back to her place to rest. I'll sing the finale. From the sublime...
Thank you, Miss Farina.
Never mind. What's done is done. It's really my own... No one likes regrets. Myself included. Leave it to me. I've watched you rehearse so many times that I've learned Cleo...
I do not doubt your acting skills, but please allow me to ask just one more question. What, in your opinion, is the reason Cleo shines so brightly?
It's her pure heart, despite all the pain and loneliness she had to endure.
Well said. I leave Director O'Reilly in your hands.
Is she here yet?
When will she get here?
She's not coming!
You're wrong. She's here.
Si je pouvais vivre dans l'eau, le monde serait-il plus beau? Me pardonneras-tu, ô chère mère? L'eau dans son courant fait danser nos vies, et la cité elle nourrit, ainsi que toi, mon doux amour.
But what about your wish?
My... wish...
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Le grand amour ne suffit pas, seul un adieu fleurira. C'est notre histoire de vie, douce et amère. Moi, je serai toujours là, à voir le monde et sa beauté, et ça ne changera jamais, jamais.
Is it just me? Or was that Lady Farina on the stage just...
She hasn't been seen for a while now, and she just appears out of nowhere? Gotta say, though, her acting skills are as superb as ever.
The Little Oceanid, Cleo, played by Aurélie Fumont.
Wait, that's not her name. What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a doppelganger.
I've spent a lot of time out of the spotlight, and they didn't use my name during the... It's too bad that I had to break the one clear... Still, it felt good.
Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to our artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Farina.
Hey, that's not what we agreed on.
Oh, so she's back?
Honestly, what is he doing?
All right, calm down, don't be mad. This was a group decision. After all, it's been the rule in Fontaine since ancient times that everyone's work, visible or...
Yes, I know the rule, but...
It's no big deal. What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, yeah? Well, since you think it's so easy, you can sign them for me.
This is a great chat and all, but can we talk about that crazy thing that happened during the show? It nearly gave... Paimon flew over to where she was supposed to be and was about to drop the prop vision, and then suddenly, a real one popped out of thin air!
Oh, that... I've got no idea what happened there either. But hey, it worked pretty well, didn't it? I'll bet the audience has never seen such a realistic prop.
Wait, what about Dolphy? I wonder how she's...
Let's go check on her as...
Yes. Plus, she'll... If nothing else, we can safely...
You're back. She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication. From experience...
How did the performance go?
You'll be glad to know it was fantastic!
That's wonderful. I'm so sorry I failed to see that.
Don't worry about it. Like they told me after announcing my name during the curtain call, even though you couldn't see it through to the final scene, the audience was very impressed by...
Well, one way or another, I've had bad luck ever since I was born. So I never expect things to go smooth.
Blaming your bad luck again, are we? Maybe if you didn't push yourself past your limits so much, your illness wouldn't be flaring.
Oh, don't you start. I don't...
Aw, you two clearly care a lot about each other.
I don't know what you're...
You mean we never stop arguing?
So, any plans for the next... After the brilliant performance you put on, the reputation of your troupe is short. You could capitalize on the rave reviews and license out the little Ocean.
No.
Yeah.
After all that's happened, I should give you guys some space.
Hey, don't just walk off!
I still want to keep performing, so I might join another troupe. After watching Miss Farina's performance, I think I'm starting to
You should do it. It suits you. I'd originally
Oh, so now you finally got your priorities in order. I guess I'll hold off until you've properly recovered as well. What about you, Miss Farina?
Well, frankly, I think a return to obscurity is no longer... You rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at the end of the...
Sorry.
It's quite all right. No need to apologize. What I meant to say is that maybe Nervilette was right. Maybe Cleo is the right role for me. I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else, but I do have a desire to express myself. So, yeah. There was once a time when I was an actress in a masquerade, seeking only to hide the truth. But from now on, I want to spend my time learning real stories about real people. I want to watch them blossom and wither, see them refined. I'm sure this is what captivated Director O'Reilly as well.
Sounds like you're ready to stop running from your true The more you get out into the world, the more you'll discover what a fascinating place it is.
If a vision is a gift from the god, then I should do my best to honor it.